In this podcast, I'll cover how to set up a Sketchfab account, as well as import and display your final hard surface piece for art creation for games. First, you'll want to set up an educational account. Head to sketchfab.com, scroll down to the very bottom, click on Education, and in here, click on Get Started. Enter your school email address and click Check Eligibility. After you've been approved, continue with the registration. This is the site we're going to use to display our final piece, and then embed that link into your ArtStation blog. Now we'll head back to Painter to export your final mesh.
You need to export your textures again in Painter because Sketchfab's configuration is different than Unreal's. Sketchfab takes JPEGs, and it takes a mesh in a different format than FBX. Painter added a configuration just for Sketchfab. So you really don't have to do anything except for export this out again. So with your final prop in Unreal, and you may want to do both of these exports at the same time. So export and do your Unreal export, get all of that stuff kicked out. And then right after, in your configuration, scroll up to the very top, there is a Sketchfab setup that's already done for you. Do not change this. It's going to switch it to a JPEG. That's fine. It needs to be JPEG. The only thing that I would recommend you guys alter is if you want to change the texture resolution. I'm going to leave mine at a 1024. You may want to crank it up to 2048 for display on Sketchfab. It's up to you though. So bring it to the Sketchfab configuration. Don't change any of the settings. Go right to Sketchfab. And then what's going to happen when you do this export is it's going to take you to this Sketchfab dialog box. If you are not signed in already, which I am, it's going to ask you to log into your Sketchfab. So it's whatever your email address is and your password. It'll ask you for your password. So this is great because it's already going to set everything up for us in Sketchfab. We're not going to have to do anything. The title of it, ACG Final, or ACG, mine is a pillar, or if yours is a crate or ammo crate, whatever you want to name it. It doesn't even have to say ACG. It's helpful for the course directors, but this is going to already be on a blog post on ArtStation where you're going to have some text about what it is anyways. I'm going to do ACG pillar. You can type in a description if you want to. Final project for ACG. And the tags are optional. You don't have to put any tags in. I am going to publish it, and I'm going to hit upload. So this is taking my mesh, and it's taking the textures, and it's uploading all of it into my Sketchfab account. So here is my account, ACG pillar. This is my final project for ACG. This is letting me know that everything was exported successfully. I can shut it down. So while this is processing, there's one other thing that you guys are going to need to do. That Sketchfab, and it's actually not Sketchfab, it's Allegorithmic, and Painter is working on updating, as there's another setting that's called Allow Texture Inspection, which they're eventually going to have is an option when that pop-up box comes in and I type in the title. It's not there right now, so this is something we have to do by hand. It's in the properties. So this Allow Texture Inspection, off by default, is letting you see this 2D of the object, which if you don't have that turned on, we're not going to be able to see the textures flat. We're just going to be looking at the model with the textures applied. Flip that on, save it out. So here's my pillar. I can look at it in 3D. If you hit I on the keyboard, I will open the model inspector. With the model inspector open, I can look at just the base color, the metal, which there's none, roughness, normal, ambient, specular. I can look at the matte cap, and then the matte cap with my normal map. So this is how much information is being stored in that normal map without any of the other textures applied. Not looking at something like this, but really seeing how that's affecting my model. I can look at the wireframe, I can look at the vertex normals, I can look at the checkerboard. Now, looking at this, there's 3D, 2D, and 3D and 2D. I'm going to I or escape to come back out of here. If this texture inspection is not on, I cannot see your textures flattened out. It's just going to give me the option to look at this stuff on the model. Notice that 2D, 3D section is gone. So I'm going to escape out again, come to the properties, turn that texture inspection on, save it out. And what that is going to allow me to do is not only see the textures on the model, but I can also see them as textures. So we can look at all the maps. I can look at your UV layout, look at the checkers with the UV layout. This is important for us to be able to see. After you have this uploaded here, there are some options. If you go to 3D settings, I'm not going to get into all of this because there's a 20-minute podcast that one of the finals course directors made for this. In 3D settings, you can alter the HDR image. You can alter the lighting. You can alter the materials. You can alter post-processing filters all on the object. I would not go super crazy with it because you're then ruining the textures and the look that this would have in a game. But if you want to go in and add some depth of field or add some bloom or put annotations on it, like maybe you really want, there to be a certain part, like I really want you to see this damage that I made. So here's some damage. And then when you're done, save your settings out, and you can do this a bunch of different places on your model. In your 3D view, there's going to be these annotations now where if I'm way over here and I click, it's going to zoom right into a specific spot. There's lots of stuff that you can do within there. So back on FSO, within your required viewing, that's what this tutorial goes over. If you do add any crazy effects, there's going to be a final render and there's going to be a post-process option underneath. So I can choose to look at your model with all of that post-process stuff, or I can choose to just look at it as it would be in a game engine. So this is the link you can send me. You can go to share. This would be what you could paste into your blog post on FSO. You can also click on embedded. This kind of stuff will embed right into ArtStation. ArtStation and Sketchfab have partnered. So now it's very easy for you on ArtStation to upload your Sketchfab stuff. So add your 3D model on ArtStation, paste in the Sketchfab URL, make sure to complete that blog post,
and then you're good to go.